These are superfood bars that taste like a dessert.
Okay.
And basically, when you sell food in the food business, taste is number one. Health and everything else is secondary or tertiary. What we do is we will retrofit a classic dessert that people like, such as a 7-layer bar. We take out the unhealthy ingredients and we replace them with superfood ingredients while maintaining the taste profile.
So this is not just a healthier version, this is actually a healthy version.
Every ingredient that we make in our food has a health benefit to it. And that's the criteria that we use in our ingredient palette. So basically we will only use superfoods, which is basically nutrient-dense foods.
Okay, this sounds like amazing stuff. This sounds like the perfect recipe. How are you doing business-wise?
We started out by entering dessert contests. We've won 6 dessert contests so far, so that was the start. The next thing that happened is we got into Whole Foods in the bakery section. That allowed us to get away from the energy bar aisle because we do not want to be positioned as an energy bar and be with all of our competitors. I compete against a brownie.
Wow. Now, you did not come from a food background, is that right?
I did not. I have a Wall Street background.
And so what made you change?
I retired at the age of 36 from a money management firm that I had started 10 years prior. While I was retired and living the so-called American dream, I got very depressed sitting around with nothing to do. I'm not very good sitting around. So I went the Western medical route and took antidepressants, and I went through 24 different prescriptions. None of them worked. All the side effects worked. I used to be 60 pounds heavier.
Wow.
And I decided I've given it enough of a try. I threw it all away and started studying mind-body medicine. When I started to focus on nutrition for brain function, I realized that there are certain foods you can take to balance your brain. So I radically changed my diet overnight, and within 48 hours I had my last panic attack, and I've never had one since.
Kidding. So this wasn't just a, wow, I think this might be a great business idea. This was born out of you deciding you're going to eat better.
It was born out of desperation. I was tired of being depressed and anxious and no one being able to help me.
Is that a selling point, though, for these?
It was. When BUDI is the Indonesian word for wise, because every ingredient does something for brain health.
Huh.
There's one large however. People have not embraced the fact that food has such a major impact on your mood. So when I came out with that marketing strategy, most people didn't believe me.
Right.
What they did come back and say was, oh wow, it's gluten-free, oh it's vegan, it's sodium-free, it's trans fat-free. So now our company is basically catering to people who have food allergies, and that's where most of our growth is coming from.
Let's talk about growth. Does this business sustain you now?
It sustains the employees.
Right.
We do have a modest profit. There's not a large margin in food. About 7% net return is what you get after taxes. That's pretty much what Kraft and Nabisco does.
Yeah, which is hard when you're working off of a small base.
We're doing about 6%.
Right.
The reason we do that is that we start with a high margin. I'm very conservative, and I make sure that our growth is very slow. So we've turned down a lot of people, and we also don't use distributors, and that is where the largest chunk of your profit is going to go.
So this is interesting. You are managing the growth of your business at a lower speed. People get into business, they want it to take off. They want to say, I'm growing at this rate, and I'm going to keep on growing at this rate. You are trying to manage your business's growth at a rate that is sustainable for you.
Correct. One of the number one reasons that people go out of business is that they cannot manage their growth. They grow too fast. For example, our maximum capacity is producing 250,000 bars per day in our Boston facility. If we got on the Oprah show or some very large outlet and they said, these are the greatest things, they're giving them away for free call, and we have orders of $500,000 in a day, and we can't fill those orders, we have not grown our business. We've created a large amount of bad goodwill.
Right.
And people are now disappointed. So we're much better off making sure that we grow at a rate that we can sustain, and that's why I'm doing it.
Very interesting. Well, I wish you the greatest of success. I'm glad that you were able to come by and show this to us.
Thank you for inviting me, and please keep the bars.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be... That's dinner. Good to see you.
Thank you.